Okay, the next set of notes that we're going to talk about is solving systems by substitution. So we just talked about solving systems by graphing, and we're looking at where they cross or intersect, right? So now we're going to talk about the second method that you can use to solving systems of equations, and that would be by substitution. So what you're going to do is you are going to substitute. First, you need to isolate the variable. Isolate the variable means get one of your variables all by itself. Once you've done that, you can take what that variable equals and plug it into the next equation. So it starts us off pretty easy with the first line. They've already isolated the variable on number 1, 2, and 3. They isolated x in the first equation. They isolated x in this equation, and they isolated y in this equation. So they got the variable x by itself, and x equals 5, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to take what x equals, and you're going to plug that in for x in the second equation. So I know x equals 5. So I'm going to plug in what x equals into this equation. So now I'm going to say 5 plus y equals 12. Okay, so I took out that x and I plugged in what x equals. To get y by itself, I subtract 5 from both sides. So I get y equals 7. Okay, reminder, we are looking for an xy coordinate point, correct? I know y is 7. So I still need my x value, okay? So if I know y is 7, I can plug 7 in for y here, or this one's super easy. What does x equal? 5. There's your point, and you are done, okay? Sometimes it's going to be easier to solve this way. Sometimes it's going to be easier to graph. So you just got to figure out which method is easier on the specific problem. All right, number 2. Again, our end goal is to find our xy coordinate point. We already know that x equals -2, so I can put that in. I'm going to take what x equals, and I'm going to plug it in for x right there. Okay? So I'm taking out x, and I'm putting in -2. So I get -2 plus 3y equals 4. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides, so I get 3y equals 6, because I added 2 here, which canceled it, and I added 2 here, which gave me 6. Divide by 3, divide by 3, y equals 2. And there's your solution. Go ahead and pause me and try 3 on your own. When you're finished, unpause me so you can see if you did it correctly. All right, so I'm looking for an xy point. We know y is already 5, so I'm looking for the x value. Take what y equals and plug it in for y. So this one has a couple more steps. So I'm going to do -3x plus 4. Now, in math, when two things sit right next to one another, that means multiply. So since the 4 and the y are sitting right next to each other, I'm going to multiply the 4 times whatever y is. And in this case, y is 5. So I'm going to show that I'm going to multiply it by 5, and that equals 8. So now I have -3x plus 20 equals 8. I'm going to start getting x by itself, so I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides. This cancels, and I get -3x equals 8 minus 20 is -12. Divide by -3, divide by -3, and I get x equals 4. So 4, 5 would be my point of intersection. Okay? Let's go down to the next row, number 4. Okay. Number 4, y is equal to 2x, so I put that in parentheses because that's what y equals, all of that. And I'm going to plug it in for y here. So I'm going to keep this first x. I'm going to do plus, and I'm going to take out this y, and I'm going to put in 2x in place of it. That equals 9. So I get x plus 2x, which gives me 3x's, equals 9. Divide by 3 to get x by itself, so I get x equals 3. So now, this one's one more step than the other ones. I need to find y, but in this case, y doesn't equal just a number. Y equals 2 times x. So what I'm going to do to find y is I'm going to actually plug in the 3 that we just found for x. So I'm going to do y equals 2 times the value of x, which is 3. So y equals 6. Okay. Next, put this in parentheses, plug it in right here. X plus negative 3x, so take out y, put in the negative 3x, That should give me 4. So I have x and negative 3x's gives me negative 2x's equals 4. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, x equals negative 2. So I get negative 2, comma, now I have to find y. So I take my negative 2 right here and I plug it in for x up here. So I do negative 3 times negative 2. So y equals negative 3 times negative 2. 2 negatives make a positive, and 3 times 2 is 6. Go ahead and pause me, and then try number 6 on your own, and unpause me when you're done. All right, so x equals 3y, so I'm going to take out x. I'm going to put in 3y there. So I get 3y minus 3y equals 0. Well, what is 3y minus 3y? 0. All the y's are gone. So this one says 0 equals 0. This one's a little different. If you get to a problem where there's no variables left, and this statement is true, so since 0 equals 0, that is a true statement. What that really means is that something we talked about in the last video. That means that those two lines are actually on top of one another. Okay? Okay? So what happens here is that if I have two lines that are on top of one another, any point on either line works for both lines. So I'm going to write infinite solutions because they have an infinite number of points that they share. So it's infinite solutions. It's a whole bunch of solutions. I couldn't give you the answer because it's too many solutions for me to be able to tell you. What I want for you to do is I want you to pause me, and I want you to do 7, 8, and 9. I'm also going to pause and complete these problems. So I'm not going to be walking through all the steps, but I'll talk through them whenever I'm done. So go ahead and pause me and do that.